Hello, loves. Hello, hello. Hills here from the Blue Flame. How are we all doing? Whew. This energy is quite something. We are right now in this moment when I'm speaking, moving through an exact conjunction between Mars and Neptune. This conjunction, it's the 12th of April, will carry us through the 13th and is really inviting a powerful realignment between our I am and our dreams. This week of the 12th through the 18th, 19th is really pushing us. It's really inviting us to move out of the zone of comfort. Every time I felt into what we're going to share during this update, which is really focusing on the Aries New Moon, which is happening on the 17th of April, that Friday, the message kept coming in, a collective realignment, a restructuring, a bringing us out of our comfort zone. Let's play a bit, shall we, with what this zone of comfort is and why we maybe need to get shaken out of it. And we'll also explore some of the astrological happenings that are part of this. So, mentioned as we opened this movement that Mars and Neptune are in conjunction as we begin this week. This conjunction, which is occurring exactly across the wheel from the supergalactic center in Libra at 2 degrees, has a lot of opening up to transdimensional, multidimensional, omnidimensional states of being. Feeling and understanding and coming into a greater integration of that transcendence that is that moment between sleeping and waking, bringing the waking into the dreaming and the dreaming into the waking. Could be another way to feel into this. If you've ever done any lucid dream movements, you'll have some sense of what we're talking about here. Remember, the Mars energy is drive, it's purpose, it's I am, it's assertive, it's outward focused. The Neptune energy is internal. It's transcendental. It's shamanic. When these two meet together, we're showing ourselves that space in between them. That place where we exist more wholly. I'll share a practice that I've been playing with as this energy moves through, and it's a breathing exercise where I breathe in, I hold for just a moment, breathe out, and then breathe in, am. Each of these pauses inviting a reflective nature, an introspective journey, feeling all of the words and categories and states of being that come in between that, and also that come at the end of that statement, I am. So you breathe in with the I, a slight pause, barely perceptible. Breathe out. Slight pause again, barely perceptible. M with the breathing in. And continue this cycle, noticing without trying to change anything, the words that your brain, that your both unconscious and conscious brain, stories, being, places first after that I, then after that am, and how they move together. I, maybe letting that exhale after you've been in the practice for a few moments. Release any of those stories that are ready to let go, right? You can also allow the exhale to help you deepen in so that you can get into deeper places within your being, accessing more about your stories, your conditioning. Then, as the week continues, so we have this Mars-Neptune energy moving us into the week. As the week continues, we find on the 15th, Mercury entering Aries and Mars shifting out and heading towards Saturn. As Mercury enters Aries, it begins its conjunction with Neptune. And the conjunction itself will occur in the hours just leading up to that Aries new moon. And remember, Mercury is expressive. It's our states of communication. It's also wisdom. It's finding connections to all of the various planes of our being. This is a really powerful moon for accessing and rewriting in the Akashic records, upgrading to new dharmic pursuits, coming into the next level of your dharma, would be another way to say this. On the 15th, Mercury enters Aries, passing through that axis mundi again, right? Passing through that 0 point, that cardinal point of the entire chart, bringing us up another level, bringing us into greater access of how we communicate and feel that practice that we talked about at the beginning here. I am feeling in those spaces in between. Neptune is very active in the spaces in between, right? Feeling in those spaces between all the stories, allowing them to be released if that is what's true. Integrating them if that is what's true. Bringing them to our awareness and simply loving them if that is what's true. Feeling the difference, perhaps, even in the way we communicate with ourselves from our deeper chakras and our upper chakras. Feeling how we maybe talk to ourselves differently from our cranial mind then from our digestive mind, and from our heart. How does our heart talk to us? "16 into the 17th, we find the new moon starting. We're in that dark moon phase, and on the 17th at 4:51 a.m. Pacific, the sun and the moon meet in conjunction. Now, before we really dive into the frequencies of that particular current, it is very important for us to understand that we have not just a solar Aries stellium, but a solar-lunar stellium. And to help us feel the various energies, we're going to do a little roll call. We're going to call in every single one of these energies, and we're going to call them in as they look on the 15th when Mercury enters Aries. We find Mercury, Neptune, Moira, which is the fates. What is the fates? They're that point in our chart and that asteroid that indicates those things that are seemingly beyond us, those things that just feel true. We are fated. Now, there's the Jungian quote that I love to share here in our spaces, which is, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate." This is not the fates of which the Moira are talking about. The fates of which the Moira are talking about are those things which your soul specifically came in to do. It could be your physical work in the world. It could be the things that you're called to create in this world, and this could also be your children. It could be various interactions or musics, the way that you are meant to hold and share light. All of these things, the fates interact with. So we have these fates in basically an exact conjunction as we come to the new moon with Neptune and Mercury. Then we have the Hathars, who we've talked about a lot here, that interdimensional, transdimensional, unconditional love vibe of the Hathars, that creatrix energy that does not create from a state of embodiment, but from consciousness, pure universal consciousness. Love. The Hathars and Mars will be exactly conjunct during the new moon, with Saturn 2 degrees away. By the time we get to the 19th, Mars and Saturn will be exactly conjunct. So here we have Mercury, Neptune, the Moira, the Hathars, Mars, Saturn. Then a little bit off from Saturn, we have Persephone, moving through the underworld and the upper world. Persephone, the maiden and the mother energies, and the crone, for she is the queen of the underworld, and that is crony energy if ever there was. Then a little far off from there, we have Eris, chaotic creation. We have Kali, that golden light of Kali, and that demon slayer that is Kali as well. Sekhmet, in the days leading up to the new moon, will have transited out of Aries and into the 0 degree of Taurus. More on that in a minute. Then on the new moon, Chiron Moon, Sun. The exact conjunction, we find Eris 25 degrees, Kali 26, Chiron 26, Sun 27, Moon 27, and the Andromeda Galaxy exists on our astrological wheel at 27 degrees of Aries also. So we have a lot of movement here. And can you feel with Eris and Chiron and Kali all working together during this, how being shaken up out of our comfort zone may be what's on offer? Now feel the Kali energy. Let's feel the Kali energy. Kali doesn't just destroy, just like Eris does not just destroy. Rather, they work to get us pointed in the more true direction. They help us to see the things that are out of alignment. Now, this whole conjunction, Eris, Kali, Chiron, Sun, Moon, Andromeda Galaxy, are also in trine to the galactic center. What is out of alignment that's keeping us from fully engaging with the entirety of this galactic state of being that we are? Can we invite that golden, radiant medicine of Kali to nurture and heal? And when I say heal, we are not talking about some magic pill that makes everything in the world look and feel absolutely fucking wonderful in every moment, because that is not true. That is not true. The medicine of Eris, the medicine of Kali, and the medicine of Chiron help us to feel how the deeper truth exists when we shift our awareness into that plane of existence that says the way it wants to come through in this moment is in that Buddhist life is suffering. And then to bring more awareness into what is actually being said when it's being said that life is suffering. It is not some sort of punishment. Rather, it is the expression of love when a heart, a physical heart, actually exists. Earth is unique in this way of this physical heart, not just an energetic heart. And because of this nature of this physicality, there is decay. There is movement between living and dying. There's a space, and there's that Neptunian energy that we were talking about before. There is that space between, and that idea that has permeated each and every one of us of separation, which we are evolving our awareness through, up and out of. So when we're talking about healing, we're not talking about an escape from death in that sense of immortality. My physical hillariness is going to live forever, but rather that we are released from the pain that somehow that death isn't also a beginning. We're remembering that each death is a beginning. These transitions and transformations, these crashings and burnings, these falling leaves that become the compost. So we are, through this, experiencing all of that wound of separation, all of that pain and fear that goes along with that separation. And here Chiron comes in, and we get to feel how it was a gift, this apparent, this illusion. There's that Neptune again. This illusion of separation, helping us to come into that individualization. There's the Aries in all of it. Coming into the individualization so that the universe can expand the chords of its frequency. In the last update, it was shared at the end and it's coming in again. You are part of the universal hum. We create this separation, this appearance, this illusion of separation, so that the soul has an expression of individualization, so that a new tone in that universal hum can be expressed. This is where we come into the healing. The gift is in the wound. And as we move through this Aries new moon, individualization is very much part of the prescription. Who am I? What am I? What am I doing here? What is it that I am called to do here? What does my mind tell me? What does my heart tell me? What does my gut tell me? Where and when do I feel the most safe? Where and when do I feel the most unsafe? And remember that sometimes that place where we feel the least safe is actually the place where we shine the brightest. Learning these body notes, finding those places where yes is actually yes because it's true, where no is actually no because it's true, and where a yes feels like a no because we're scared, and a no feels like a yes because we're scared. But that scare isn't a stop sign, but rather oh shit, I'm about to do something and I'm really afraid. I know it's true. I can feel it. And you're tick, 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 ticking up the hill of the roller coaster. Breathe in those moments. This is what is meant when we say, taken out of your comfort zone, coming into your true form. So we have a whole lot of fiery energy, a whole lot of fiery energy. We have what? Mercury, Neptune, Moira, Hathors, Mars, Saturn, Persephone, Eris, Kali, Chiron, Moon, Sun. 12 energies during this new moon in the sign of Aries. That is a lot of fire. That is a lot of fire. Watch for blown gaskets. Watch for hot tempers. There's that Mars energy. Find ways to balance your engines. Finding ways to balance your engines. What do we mean by that? We could, especially since we have all this forward momentum with all the planets moving forward, in concert with this massive array of Aries energy. Feel a lot of internal combustion, a sense that we have to constantly be in a state of production, doing and doing and doing and doing. Stoke the fire, stoke the fire, stoke the fire, stoke the fire. When in a truer truth, it may be what actually serves is to calm oneself, to sit in stillness, to be dressed in light, cooling colors, to work with cooling stones like kyanite, aquamarine, rose quartz, to take lots of breaths. With this much fire, bringing more oxygen in. Calm, cool breathing exercises. And remember, it was that breathing exercise that we started today with that I. Breathe. Exhale. Breathe in and exhale. I. Breathe in. Exhale. And maybe you reverse it. Maybe you reverse it. Maybe you breathe in. And on the exhale, I. You breathe in. And on the exhale, and feeling the movement of internal and external as you shift when you say I and when you say am. But it is this oxygen, this movement of air that is not only helping to feed all the fire, fire eats oxygen, but to help you to stay centered while moving through this Venetian, this Phoenix-like fire horse energy. There is a yod. There are actually two yods. Remember, a yod is a finger of God. It's a sextile that's pointing inconjunctly at something. That bridging sextile energy, inviting us to feel the gift that we're sharing when we allow. Remember, an inconjunction is also a state of discomfort, right? We need to readjust ourselves to get into it. And that bridging sextile can help us. It points us in the direction. The Hathors, Mars, Saturn, are part of this energy. They are in an exact sextile during this new moon with Pluto. Pluto is going to be the first planet to turn retrograde and will do so just after the Scorpio full moon. Pluto will turn retrograde on the 5th or 6th of May, depending on your locale. But right now, moving forward, we find Hathar's Mars Saturn in Aries, exactly sextile to Pluto in Aquarius. The medicine of Pluto in Aquarius is shadow work for all. It is helping us to get into those places so that we can clear the pathway for our unique expression of genius. The Hathars, Mars and Saturn in conjunction in Aries, working to help us align and alight to our true dharmic path. Can you feel how these energies are working in concert and pointing the finger of God directly at the South Node in Virgo? How do we get to play with this energy? Well, we're talking about unique genius here. Your true I am. What is it? Remember earlier we said this is a really good new moon for not just accessing the Akashic records, but also for rewriting soul contracts, for coming into an up-leveling of soul purpose. As you connect to that Virgoan South Node, you can feel, you're invited to feel how you have been running the old script and invite Mars and Saturn, Pluto, the Hathars, to help you rewrite it. Feel what aspects of these old stories are still true for you. What aspects of what you were here to do are still true for you. Bring those into the new as the moon rebirths after the new moon. Let those be the seeds that you plant on the new moon, while you allow all that fiery energy that you've been giving through your consciousness, your conscious acceptance and awareness, and through your physical breath too. Bringing all of that in and letting the fire burn up anything that is no longer true. Now, a beautiful practice for this sort of energy is to actually burn. Like you can write the thing down, especially with all this Mercury in there. Write the thing down that's no longer true for you. And then in a safe way, if you have a fire pit outside your house, that would be a very safe way. Or if you have a cauldron in your house that you can do this safely, place the piece of paper in an open flame and allow it to burn away. You can set it on fire and set it into a flame-resistant dish as well, and then cover it to allow it to be safe. No, Kali is very active right now. Be careful, you could burn your house down. This fiery energy. So do so, if you're going to do that particular practice, do so in that physical, tangible way, in a safe way. All right. We don't want anyone burning their houses down. Energetically, working with the violet flame or the violet blue flame could be really helpful as well. Making a mental note of the thing that's being burned away. On the 19th of April, in fact, would be a really powerful day to do this because we will have an exact Mars, Mercury, Saturn conjunction, and that And that yod will be very active. So feel in, is it truer for you in the run up to the energy, like coming as Mercury enters Aries on the 15th? Is it true for you to work with this sort of practice of connecting to all of the old stories, integrating those which are still true, and allowing to be burned away those which are not through your conscious awareness, through your expression, physical writing, perhaps? Or is it on the 19th when the Mercury, Mars, Saturn conjunction is exact with all of this yachting energy? We have another yod, which has been active for a little while, which is Hecate in Aquarius. So we have two Aquarian yods. Hecate in Aquarius working in sextile with Lilith in Sagittarius, pointing at Jupiter in Cancer. We talked about this yod in the last update. This one is helping you connect to the largesse of your being, to all of those aspects of you. Both Lilith and Hecate have triple goddess energy. We are talking about all of the cycles, and Jupiter expands our access. We are pointing the whole of our being into our state of belonging. That part of us, and it does not matter what kind of physical body you're in to work with this energy, that part of us that is maiden, that young, vital energy, that part of us that is crone, that wizened, knowing energy, experienced energy, and that part of us that is mother, that births, that creates, and to feel how none of this works in isolation. The maiden and the crone help to hold space on either side so that the mother is safe to create. And this is the invitation as we move through this week, as we are being shook up out of our comfort zone. I personally even got the Tower card in a divination today. Like lightning strikes, movement happens. Let it happen in that way which is true. Come back to the heart. Come back to the breath. Feel the truth of your wholeness. Feel the truth of your wholeness. In the last update, I shared that a 33rd harmonic sound bath would be uploaded to the YouTube. It has been uploaded. It works with the Venus point, which is an emerging energy center. It's kind of like a sextile in and of itself. It is a bridge between the amygdala and the vagus nerve, and it helps to reroute the way we process grief and trauma. And it brings our awareness back into the heart and into that truth of our universal hum, our connection to that love universal. Venus will be square to Magdalena in Leo, forming a T-square because Hecate over in Aquarius is across the wheel from Magdalena in Leo. Venus will be at 21 degrees of Taurus, still the sign of rulership for Venus, as Venus prepares to come into conjunction with Uranus and then lovingly invite Uranus into Gemini. All that's going to happen between the 20th, 23rd is the exact Uranus Venus conjunction. The 25th is the date that Uranus enters Gemini. We will have more on that in another update. Part of what we are connecting to in the all of this is that which is the all of us. This is where we are connecting into Hecate. It is that part of us that is searching at the crossroads, and that part of us that holds the torch, that remembers the way, and allowing that part of us that remembers the way to lead it. Letting go of any ideas that we somehow don't know, because we do. You feel for a moment there's peace that wants to come in. We mentioned that Sekhmet enters the 0 degree of Taurus just right around this new moon. As Sekhmet enters Taurus, she does so in square to the asteroid name for Merlin in Aquarius, entering the 0 degree of Aquarius. Now, part of the energy of this is an invitation to feel how witches and wizards were talked about, to feel how we talk about that part of us that is an alchemist, that has the capacity to interact consciously with the elements, to create. Sekhmet isn't necessarily perfectly aligned to quote unquote witch energy, and this is a square. We have to see around corners to access it. The part of Sekhmet that is connected to the witch energy is that part of Sekhmet that is a guide through the underworld, the Sikha. That part of Sekhmet that has been through the shamanic journey, destroying everything in its path, coming into that state of stillness, awakening to the truth of the allness, and finding the self seated in power. That's the crown. Can you feel how each of these energies is also the maiden, the mother, and the crone, which we've been talking about, which is a template of the witch? Merlin is the template of the wizard. Now, we often think of Merlin as this white-haired Gandalfian sort of character with the pointy hat and the robe and everything like that, right? A truer truth, and we can connect to this with the word Merlin, for the word Merlin is like the word Mary, less a name and more a designation. Mary, because it simply means beloved of. It means priestess. It is a designator that one is of the priestess lineage, that one is beloved of God. Merlin is a designation that simply meant an alchemist. It was the word that meant wizard or male witch. warlock. We, throughout the last 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years or so, as we've moved through the age of Pisces, given a lot of latitude to the warlock, to the wizard. We propped the wizard up, didn't we? We said, oh, Gandalf's amazing, Merlin's amazing. Well, turning the witch into something to be feared. As we're moving through this energy, part of what we are stirring in our cauldron is a remembering that they are the same thing, wearing different costumes. And we are all that thing, which is cosmic creators. Every single one of us has a flavor of the wizard and the witch within us. How that expressed will be unique to each and every one of us. Some of us, it's a more open channel sort of energy. Some of it's through dance or creating music or creating food, creating environments. Some of us will actually work in spell work. Some of us will be intuitive healers, working in the more medicinal capacities. Some as teachers. How this medicine, this truth of the unified wizard and witch within you is expressed is likely to be a combination of a bunch of them. And you get to play with the ingredient list. As we move through the rest of this month of April, as things keep chugging and churning and really heating up, remember that you are divine love. Allow everything that bubbles and boils and churns and makes itself very known to be held with loving attention, but not so much internalization, perhaps. Let the steam carry it away. Let the fire burn it up. Let your exhale release it. Working with tree magic in this energy could be very beneficial as well. Shower and bath time magic. With all this Venus in Taurus energy, you might even feel called to give yourself some form of a spa day during this week. The invitation is to feel what is nourishing for you so that as we move into the new, you're actually doing so in alignment with truth and bringing yourself into your next dharmic expression. If it calls, I invite you to come over to Circle and join us for our Aries New Moon, if you're called into the inner sanctum, or to feel the other offerings that are in there, just to come into that beautiful container, into that blue flame space that we hold. I do offer one-on-ones. There's links below for all of the things. if a one-on-one consult calls to you, click the link below. And please do share in the comments that which is moving within you. You can give things names in the comments, share what's percolating up if that calls. Like, subscribe, you know, all the things. And as always, in the always, so much and many loves to you from the dimensions of the all and beyond, beyond.